Welcome, all my home shoppers out there. My name is Omar Pineda, your Austin realtor with eXp Realty, and today we are in the city of Leander, Texas, in a community called Rosenbusch Ranch, and the builder we're looking at is D.R. Horton. Now, this particular community has several move-in ready homes that can close within the next 30, 60 days, and they have price drops and incentives tied to them. And this street right here that we're looking at would be the street that of the homes that are available. So you would be on a cul-de-sac for this particular phase. Now for this community, you can kind of see off there in the distance on the top, towards the top there, that's their future phase. That's phase 3 that they're currently almost done moving all the dirt. You can see how flat it is, and they're just getting ready to build the next kind of phase of homes. This is phase 2 that you're buying in, that you would be on this cul-de-sac here. Like I said, there are several move-in ready homes that I got to tour. This one that we're looking at right now is called the Steinbeck floor plan. It's 4 beds, 3 baths, 2,209 square feet. It has a 2-car garage. It's currently being offered at $489,990. Now that's significant because it was originally priced at $522,740. So that's a 6.3% price drop that they had. Not to mention the current incentives that they're offering. The last time I checked was 5.5 interest rates. That's a few points below what the current market rate is for a conventional FHA loan. So the interest rates, the builders are offering help with the financing to help with the closing costs and the buy down if that needs to be the case. Now, one thing that I really like about this floor plan is that it has 3 bathrooms. There's a lot of floor plans that I see, and it's very popular to have the 4 beds, 2 baths, but this one has that extra full bath that I think is critical, especially if you're a home and you plan on entertaining or you plan on having guests over. Having 2 bathrooms for the guests instead of just 1 is going to be huge, just to have that peace of mind and just the sanity of everybody so that there's no one waiting, especially if you plan on entertaining. I think having 2 bathrooms is clutch. So this is all one story. Again, having a 4 bed, 3 bath is, I think, makes more sense for most people. And the good thing is that D.R. Horton is building, we're looking at that floor plan. And here are the other 2 bedrooms that you would see that share this bathroom. So the bathroom that we're going to see here would be one of the, I guess, guest bathrooms that you could use possibly on top of the other bathroom that we're going to see here. So on this floor plan, you have these 2 bedrooms. And then towards the front of the house, you have the 4th bedroom that can serve as either for guests or for maybe when the in-laws come over and visit, because it's almost on its own wing of the house where it's separate from the other bedrooms and the primary. That way you have that space, you have that privacy, and especially for noise. And you have that bathroom that's adjacent. So your ensuite bathroom for that bedroom that I will point out here in a second. So one thing that's huge for this community is that this is not a master plan community. This is a pocket that they found in West Leander. And West Leander is a different feel from, I guess, the main, like the central Leander, because this does feel like you're kind of off on your own, and it's not just high visibility. Like off Ronald Reagan Boulevard, you have D.R. Horton Bar W Ranch, which if you're looking at homes like in the 3s and 4s and 5s, D.R. Horton's probably going to come up in your Leander search. So here's that 4th bedroom that I was talking about. That's towards the front of the house. You could definitely use it as a home office. You could use it as that guest bedroom for the in-laws or when people come over, because you have this ensuite bathroom right here. That's what makes it very. I think that's the flow of it that makes a lot of sense for people. So 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, right? So I say all that kind of going back to the location of this place because the tax rate is 2.1%, which is crazy low, because everything I'm seeing is 2.5 and above, especially if you tackle on, if you're the community that you're in is in a mud, a pit, or a PUD, that's going to add a few more points to that tax rate. So this one doesn't add, you don't have to add anything extra because there's no mud, there's no PUD. It's just 2.1, which is great. I think that's what makes this community very unique is that there's no mud or PID and the tax rate is low. $70 a month in HOA. You are in Leander, so you belong to the Leander ISD, which is a huge draw to people. Leander and Liberty Hill, top rated, highly rated school systems. That's the big demand for people moving here, is they want to put their kids in the good schools. Leander, Liberty Hill is usually the pick of choice, even though that is changing as we're shifting. If you go towards more east, towards Hutto and Taylor, that is changing. So in this particular community, they build with their traditional series, meaning that all four sides of their homes are masonry and the finishes are just a little bit higher end. And because of that low property tax rate, they took advantage of that to just make it a better home. Especially if you look at between D.R. Horton in Bar W Ranch and D.R. Horton here in Rosenbusch Ranch. So here is their amenity center and amenity pool for this community. Now you can kind of see here in the next shot, this is what their phase 3 is going to look like. You can see how much dirt they've moved, they're pretty much done level everything off, and you can see where the future homes are going to be built. So here's a good shot of that. Now let me pause here really quick because you can kind of see where this road kind of just stops. So if you're looking at the map, let me share my screen here because I really wanted to point this out. Okay, so here's the map. Here is where the community is. Here's Rosenbusch Ranch, D.R. Horton. Now you see the road leading up to it is Vista Ridge Drive, right? That's the road connecting to the community. Now what's been proposed and is in the works is within this community is connecting Vista Ridge Drive to the other side. So that way you can have direct access to Baghdad, which would be huge. So that way you have two ways to get out of this community. You have Baghdad and you have Lakeline Boulevard, which Lakeline Boulevard isn't a huge... It's a one way on both directions, so it can get congested. But because no one's going to be on this road unless you live in this area, because this is not a main road by any means. So that's why I really like this community, because you kind of feel like you're off on your own. You do feel like you're very secluded in this community because you're not on a high traffic road like you would be if you were on Ronald Reagan living at Bar W Ranch. I think that's the only con I see if you live in that community, is that Ronald Reagan, that road, they need more lights, and it's very hard to go in and out of that community, so you have to be kind of patient. With this community, Lakeline Boulevard leading up to this community just feels a lot more private, less high visibility when it comes to traffic. So here's the garage, and I'm super excited to show you that in this community, they do have this phase that they're almost completely sold out on, and then phase 3 that they plan on building here in the future. Now here's towards the back of the house. Now keep note, all four sides are masonry, which is a big deal because you usually have the front elevation, the very front of the house, that's just brick and stone, and that's what you could do that. Or the second thing you could do is all three sides can have brick and stone, but having all four sides masonry like this adds value, and it shows you the premier kind of series collection that D.R. Horton is doing specifically for his community, because they saw that the tax rate was very low. So that means they could, as far as affordability, what people can afford in this community, they added to that with the construction and the build quality. So I kind of had to rewind back a little bit because my technology wasn't working, but I really wanted us to fast forward here. Here, this is phase 3. We can see the roads are pretty much done. The moving of the dirt's pretty much done because all the equipment's done. Now they're just having to officially start building, which probably will happen sometime this year. Definitely when they're done selling out of their phase 2. But with these price drops, and these are price drops across the board, I'm looking at their inventory sheet. There's probably at least a dozen homes that are move-in ready. And check this out. This is why it'll be very important for you to contact me so we can go over this in greater detail, because it's hard to do this in a video. But when I look at the comps between the recently solds in this community and what they're currently being offered right now, we do have some wiggle room for further negotiations. And I really want to talk to you that in greater detail on our consultation. So that's a great segue. So what do we do next? If you're a home buyer and you're looking to get into a home within the next 30, 60 days, let's talk immediately so we can look at these incentives, look at what their current inventory is, and see if this community is a match. If Leander's a big draw to people, and finding new construction is getting harder and harder because Leander's almost completely built out when it comes to the residential homes. You'll still see little pockets of these little neighborhoods popping up. That's going to happen. But again, as time goes on, there's only so much land Leander has to build out. So it's only going to get harder to move in. So, but with this, and especially with communities like this, where I feel like this was a nice little gem that I found because of just how secluded it feels from the rest of Leander, but in the best ways. If you're a home buyer and you're looking, like, you're 90 days out, like you're looking to buy this year, but you're just not sure when, because you're looking at the market and affordability, and is it going to just get better for you as time progresses? One can argue both points, but what I'm trying to say is, let's talk to see what your ultimate goals are, so that way we can see what the numbers look like, because I think just having more information will help you make a better decision, and the numbers definitely have a big part to that. And again, let's see what community best meets your needs. I really want you to fall in love with the floor plan first, fall in love with the community second, and then let's figure out the financial incentives, because all these builders do their homework and they keep up with what their competition is doing as far as incentives. So they understand that they're not going to lose a deal for a financial incentive because their competition is giving that away. So there's middle ground that we can meet, is what I'm saying. So first, fall in love with the floor plan. Let that check all the boxes. Fall in love with the community. And if this floor plan isn't a fit, D.R. Horton has many more to choose from. There's more communities that around Leander, depending on your price point. And then let's figure out the financing so we can, especially with the incentives that they're offering, because that buying down the interest rate helps buyers so much with just increasing their purchasing power, which, unless you're in a city where they're building a lot of new construction, so much, in fact, like here in Austin, where you have so many builders competing, where they're willing to offer 10, 20, 30, 40,000 to you, the buyer, to help financially with the closing costs, with the buy down of the interest rate. Let me know in the comments, are the builders in your city doing the same thing? Because that's what we're seeing here in Austin, where we're seeing tens of thousands of dollars as flex cash that you, the buyer, could use to help buy down the interest rate, help pay for closing costs, and get into a brand new home that has a home warranty in these nice master plan communities. In this particular case, I would say this is more like a pocket neighborhood, because there's not that many houses being built. Then new construction is probably going to be a really good bet for you, especially because that's what I foresee as having like the best deals, because I don't see interest rates dropping dramatically anytime soon. So I appreciate you for watching. Again, what I really like about this community, the low interest rate. Property taxes are great. It's $70 HOA. Usually when you see a very low priced home, where they get you is like the property taxes are high and the HOA is high. So in this community, the prices are reasonable, right? We're talking about the mid fours here, but they just had a recent price drop, and they're still offering that incentive to help with the interest rate. So those are all wins in my book, especially because we're in Leander. We're in a community that I think location-wise is fantastic, because you feel very secluded, and the property taxes are fantastic. So my name is Omar Pineda, your Austin Realtor with eXp Realty. I appreciate you for watching. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like things new construction around the Austin area. I keep a pulse on the market when it comes to new construction around the Austin area. I'm constantly touring these communities, keeping up with the builders, keeping up with the incentives, and just keeping a beat on all these new communities that are popping up, because Austin is growing like crazy. And new construction is growing like crazy on the residential side and the commercial side. So keeping up with it is something that I love to, because there's just so much to keep up with, right? Because that's how much Austin is booming. And new construction is definitely a good niche to be in. I specialize in new construction. And if you're looking for a new construction home, I'm your guy. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.